Hello everyone, I'm Shubhi Khanna and today we're here with Samarth Sharma and he's studying in his final year in Jaypee University of Information Technology. He successfully completed GSoC 2020. So congratulations on that and welcome to the UAceIt A Story Samarth. We are so happy to have you here.
Thanks, Shubhi, for welcoming me. And yeah, I'm actually a GSoC student now. So yay, a minor celebration for me as well.
Indeed. But we are really curious to know. So how did you prepare for GSoC?
Well, I actually got through almost every single video on YouTube that I could find related to GSoC and open source. Actually, there are a lot more programs like this. GSoC is just one of them. There's an MLH program as well. There's countless of more, something like Hacktoberfest to I mean, you can't even name it. There's also this Girl Script Summer of Code. There's just too many. I just picked GSoC because a lot of my senior college mates, they actually prepared for GSoC and they were actually mentors in this as well. So I got to know about GSoC from them. So that's what excited me about this GSoC thing in the first place. And also, who doesn't like the Google tag? Although you're directly not employed by Google, but having Google, in your resume, it's a proud thing.
Indeed, and we were really proud that you achieved that. But yes, so what really stood out was that he had mentors, so he was lucky in that regard. But he did at a lot of videos. He tried to understand a lot of projects, and I think that is something that really helped you. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And Samarth, so I have to ask you, could you tell us a little more about the organization that you worked with?
My organization is called CDLI. It's a Cuneiform Digital Library Initiative. Although I applied for other organizations as well, actually you can submit 3 proposals in your GSoC term. That's for 1 year, you can make 3 of these proposals so far. And one of mine got selected at CDLI. Although I was contributing to other organizations as well, but luckily my proposal for CDLI stood out to them and I actually got shortlisted for it.
Perfect. And how did you choose CDLI?
This is basically because of my tech stack that I like. I like to work on front-end portion of things. So that's why I picked it. Although there are countless more organizations that have this front-end related or something related to JS. I have a thing for JS. I personally love JS over other languages. Some people have Python over there, CPP. For example, even if you are a coder that likes to code in Haskell or any other language that's not very much popular out there, the open source community is actually very much welcome to these. For example, I think even Haskell, the organization that makes the Haskell programming language, they also come at Google Summer of Code.
And coming on to the next thing that I really have to ask, that when did you start preparing? So how many months in prior?
Well, one of my friends that I mentioned earlier, the mentors, he got in GSoC in 2019. And back then I had minimal idea about what GSoC was and what this open source actually is. So he taught me about all these things that, so Google decides that without the help of these open source organizations, we couldn't even, do anything. For example, Linux is the most popular operating system now, although it's heavily modified by different organizations. Android is one of them. It's Unix based, and so for there are a lot of technologies that right now exist just because of the contributions of open source community. Even some things like Internet Explorer, it recently got revamped. It's now built on top of Chromium. Chromium is an open source browser kind of thing. So you see, that's why I got into GSoC. So I had almost a year now. So GSoC was announced, I guess, somewhere around December 2020.
Yes.
So by that time, I decided to polish up my front end development skills because I'm much more of a front end guy. So I decided to polish up my skills, switched to Linux, learned the basic steps, made commits on GitHub, tried to search for more open source organizations, made some pull requests too. Even got in discussions with the GitHub discussion section, joined their Gitter IRC chat and so forth. So I actually got very much heavily invested into this thing, and I actually started to enjoy this. As a student, you always want that you bag the topmost package in the college on some bucks, even get some respect around the neighborhood, probably from your relatives, that are always present when you score less marks.
Yes, yes.
So I actually got very happy without any stipend or anything. It was very nice solving problems, discussing with peers and people across the globe, having information exchange on a global level. It's actually very nice. So I actually very much enjoyed this talking through over GitHub or GitLab over this. So that's how I actually started preparing for GSoC. Doing small increments every single day.
So there it is, people. You have your typical Sharma ji ka beta who your parents compare
Well,
now and
well,
then.
I am a Sharma, so I don't
Exactly.
think
My
that applies to me.
but
Okay,
so
I'm offended a bit.
I'm really sorry for that. But to all other folks like me who have been constantly
Mhm.
compared with a person who just does really well, we feel offended all the time. So
uh, well, I'm sorry for that as well.
no, not at all. I'm kidding. So
Yeah, it's fine.
started a year prior, and I think this is something very
Yeah.
important to point out for all our starters or someone who's going into it for the very first time. Um,
Well, why you should start a year prior is because, like right now, I got into an org and there was some sort of competition. It's more of a healthy competition. Nobody's like, cutthroat into this. So it was a healthy competition. So it's not always that your proposal is going to, make it through to the GSoC thing.
yes.
So some of I even actually made friends. The guy that we are competing against, two girls and one guy. We actually got in touch with each other. We still talk on Slack sometimes. So we made friends, and so what they were told, right, that if you guys continue to make contributions to this org, help with us more. So if your proposal maybe next time stands out, you might actually get a chance to be a part of GSoC next year. So a lot of folks that got rejected this year are actually working on these open source organizations from this day. They're actually working on it right now. So that's why I think it's best if you start as soon as possible.
Exactly. And for all those of you who don't know, companies don't drastically change. Yes, it's possible that a company will be there in GSoC 2020 and will not be there in 2021, but you will see a similar pattern of projects. Yes. Also, in addition to that, there are a lot of easy repositories and beginner friendly repositories that you can look into.
Yeah, actually, my project is very much beginner friendly, and there are a lot of projects that are very much beginner friendly out there. So even if my domain lies in web dev, so I can guide you related to about it. So let's take Mozilla for example. When you hop onto their GitHub page, and let's say you visit one of their repositories and you look at the issues section, so there are these labels of good first issues. Now, good first issues are usually very beginner friendly. They hardly require, I guess, 2 or 3 lines of fixes. So you can start from there. Then you can move on to other issues as well. Some organizations even have labels of strictly front end, back end, ML, or even more. So it's up to you. But starting with good first issues is something that I recommend because these are very much simple, and you might even get familiar with the repository itself because most of these repositories are huge, and by huge I mean really huge. So that's a thing as well. So good first issues should be your target if you are trying to explore some org or if you're a beginner.
Perfect. So you've told us that you mostly worked on front end, but what
Mhm.
was your project about during GSoC?
I had to work on the wireframes and the accessibility portion of the project. Now, the project is divided into various parts. So it's more of a Sumerian data storage facility. It's more of a like a library. You have information related to artifacts on a website. That's what the basic project is. If I have to sum it up in a few words, so I had to work on the UI side of things and the accessibility, of course. So I mean, most of it is just HTML, CSS. Now their project is built on top of Cake PHP. Now I am a JS side of a guy, so if you are very much unfamiliar with this, so there's this general library, rivalry, sorry, of Node.js and PHP in general. So you have to accept things the way they are. You now it's no way sensible to write remove JS from that. Now another challenge was that CDLI is doing something that's actually very necessary, but most of the organizations right now skip it. Even big companies skip this. Startup level, they also skip it. And the thing that I'm talking about is accessibility and no JavaScript support. So what if some user has disabled JavaScript? Now, when you hop onto Amazon, if you disable JavaScript, their website is completely accessible. And let's say you visit your college website, chances are it might not be accessible, or some startup website, and pretty much are not accessible as well. So accessibility and JavaScript support was something that I had to learn as well. The front end portion was very much easy. It's just HTML, CSS, no harms done over there. But the accessibility part and the Node.js support for every single page out there, that was something that bothered me. So I had to, run in through a lot of Stack Overflow articles just to get there.
But I'm glad you mentioned this, because this is actually a really important point. Look, guys, Samarth was working on his project for a year. And even after that, when he started off, I mean, I'm sure you didn't know everything. So
Exactly.
it is okay to not know everything. Companies are big, their code bases are huge. So it's okay to know something and then learn something. That's always an option. So don't get intimidated, is my point. Also,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every open source organization is very much welcome. Even if you are literally a beginner that has no idea about the basics,
yeah.
they'll even give you resources out there to, you can go through this blog. So I was told a couple of YouTube channels, website, and so forth. Like Free Code Camp is one of the popular ones. I suggested one to one of the guys that was interested in the front end development section. So all these organizations are very much friendly. They are in dire need of developers because apart from GSoC and a couple of programs, most of them don't even have sponsors to host their websites or projects. So they're very much welcome, to teach you guys that if you can help us, we'll give you the resources. Just be there for us.
Exactly. In fact, Samarth, all these resources that you talk about, and even some beginner-friendly repositories that could be beneficial, we'll take the links from you and we'll attach it below, so that all the beginners who are going through it can access those and learn from them. Samarth,
Sure.
GSoC lasts for a good long time, and I don't just mean the contribution period. You're also working and a part of it
Yeah.
coincides with college. So how did you handle both?
Well, I got lucky on this part. COVID happened, so my college got suspended,
Yeah.
for the meantime. So I pretty much got lucky with this. But when you're having college side by side, I hope things go well by 2021. So I hope you're still in college by that time, not taking online classes from home. It sucks, but anyway, getting off topic. So when you're in classes right by side, it's more of an internship kind of thing. Although GSoC is very much against the idea of internship. Some orgs call it an internship, some not. So I'm not going to go into that direction, but it feels like an internship. You have to code almost daily, give commits. Some even follow some development cycles as well. One of the proper ones is Scrum call, having a meeting every day at some point of time. My org had 2 meetings. I had to, so a mentor is also assigned, by the way. It's more of a internship, but it's more of a gray area right there, whether you should call it or not. So everything is like an internship. You are assigned a mentor. You have to talk to them regarding what you're going to do if you are in some sort of blockade that needs to be resolved. So everything like that. So I had to talk to my mentor once a week, and to the whole team once a week as well. To explain what I have achieved this week, and to, if possible, visually show them that this is what I did and this is something that I plan on to tackle next week, and so forth.
Yeah. Perfect.
Some had like everyday calls, so it basically depends. So it can really get hectic if you have college side by side.
Exactly. And so, guys, what he's really referring to is not just those 2 or 3 months, but a good 4 or 5 months when you're working throughout the week to achieve something concrete. And you will face a lot of bugs along the way, and some of them will not be solvable. You'll be stuck on them for days and days. But here's the thing, it's all worth it. So go into it only and only if you're really diligent about it. And Samarth, so thank you so much. That was amazing advice. My last question to you would be that if you had
Mhm.
3 tips that you would like to give to people who are trying to apply for GSoC 2021, what would they be?
uh, Start, just start it. I mean, the longer you wait, the chances of you getting selected into GSoCs are dropping day by day. I mean, if possible, I think you should start it today or the moment you're watching this video. And the second tip would be to be a little bit outspoken. You know, open source organizations, they have a lot of members already in their online IRC chat platform. Or some of the popular ones are Slack. So let's say you hop onto Slack. My org already had 400 plus candidates, and if you're applying to some popular ones out there, something like TensorFlow, Wikimedia Foundation, or Mozilla, they usually have thousands of members. So you need to be outspoken, otherwise you won't be heard within a crowd of 1,000 or something like that. If you depend upon someone else calling you out, nobody has time to do that. There's just too much people. So you need to be outspoken, be active on their GitHub or GitLab pages, and just don't be afraid of running into bugs. They will eventually come out. So don't be afraid of it. I mean, just start it. That's what my tip is. Just start it.
Perfect. That's a great piece of advice, guys. Let's all just start working on it from today. We're going to definitely attach all the resources and plus Samarth's LinkedIn link as well. So you guys can go onto his profile, message him. Don't trouble him too much, but hit him up, ask him questions. He'll be more than happy to help you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
On that note, Samarth, thank you so much for your time and your advice was golden.
Thank you for having me as well. I hope you have a good day as well. And for anyone that's watching, please start coding as well. It's fun actually.
It is. I agree. It totally is. All right, then. Thank you.
Thank you.